Hi, and welcome to the Pride Road Architects podcast. I'm Lisa Rains, and each episode I'll talk to people who interest me in the world of architecture and business. So join me and fellow lions and lionesses as we explore architecture in the den. So, hi everyone, and welcome to Architecture in the Den. And today we're going a little bit off topic, and we're going to talk about franchising. I'd like to introduce Claire Munday from Tappy Toes. So first of all, Claire, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me on, Lisa. So like you said, my name is Claire Munday and I'm the founder of Tappy Toes, which is very, very different to architecture. We are a baby and toddler dance franchise.
Fantastic. So, well, thanks for that. So Claire just asked me before off air, why do you want me in an architecture podcast? Well, I think the answer is I'm interested.
Great.
I'm interested to talk to you. Hopefully most of my listeners know that Pride Road is an architectural practice franchise, and a lot of people don't know an awful lot about franchising at all. It's really unusual in architecture. So I just thought I'd reach out to the franchise community and let's just start explaining what franchising is about and why you would franchise. So from your experience, Claire, just tell me about your journey into franchising.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's right what you said. Like, a lot of people don't fully understand franchising, or they're not really sure what it is, or they just think it's McDonald's and huge corporations. And actually, it's not like that at all. It can be a really local business because you are kind of licensing out the rights to your brand to local people. So you've got feet on the ground, so to speak, in all the different areas, rather than trying to run it all from one central location in areas that you might not be familiar with. So for me, I mean, I used to be a dancer. I was a professional dancer for 10 years. My first love has always been teaching. So I knew that when I'd finished my performing career, I knew I would teach, and I did so alongside it. And I set up Tappy Toes because, this is almost 20 years ago now. There just wasn't much for really little kids. So especially in the world of dance, like, they could start when they were 3 years old, but before that there was nothing. So I created the Tappy Toes syllabus just in my local area, which at the time was in Watford. And it was a really big success. It was really popular in Watford. We branched out to the next town in Bushy. We branched out to Rickmansworth. And then when I got pregnant with my first child, I decided to look into franchising it because I knew that it had legs to grow as a business, but I also knew that I was about to have a young family, and there was just no way that I could be managing kind of loads of different areas myself and sourcing teachers and marketing in those areas. So for me, franchising was kind of a no-brainer, in the sense that with the franchise, the person that buys into the business is fully invested because, firstly, they've paid money for the brand and all the systems and processes that go with that. And secondly, it's their baby too now. It's their business that they can then run with and grow and build under your umbrella, if you like. So it just seemed like the perfect way to grow the Tappy Toes brand. And that's what I did. I started to look into and research franchising because, I didn't know any more than most people at that time.
Mm.
I just had heard of franchising and thought, oh, I'll have a look at that. And now here we are about 10 years later, and we have just under 30 franchises across the UK. Yeah, so it's definitely a good way to go if you want to kind of grow your business.
Mm. And so how much is it to invest in one of your franchises?
Yeah, so Tappy Toes is what we'd call a low-cost investment, a low-cost franchise. It's more a lifestyle business, so it's works really well for parents, mums particularly, who have got young children and they want to be around for their kids, which is so often the case in franchising, because it's your business, so you can kind of build it how you want to. So our franchise fee is £5,500 plus VAT, which is a really low investment. And you know, it's very, very easy to make that money back and more in your first year. So yeah, it's a very low risk way to start your own business.
And what would you say the advantages? I mean, okay, so if I was a dance teacher,
Yeah.
actually, do you have to be a teacher to buy a
No,
franchise?
no, you don't have to be at all. I mean, the training is really bespoke to each individual that comes on board with us. So, you know, some of our franchisees are dancers or were dance teachers. Some of them were early years primary school teachers. Some of them worked in nurseries. Some of them were childminders. And then others just loved dance as a kid and actually had no experience teaching children. So they come from all walks of life, really. But the great thing about a franchise is the backup and support. As you know, when you're buying into a franchise, you're getting that backup and support and the training that you need to ensure your business is a success. So I've made plenty of mistakes over the years that I've learnt from, and I've put all the systems and processes in place, which then means that when you come on board as a franchisee, you don't have to make all those mistakes because we've already researched that for you.
Yes, yes.
So, I mean,
And that's exactly how we work as well. Yes.
yeah.
So just talking about your investments, ours is at the moment it's 10,000.
Right.
The franchise brand is not VAT registered, so there's no VAT on that at the moment.
Right.
Hopefully it will climb up soon.
Yeah. You'll be surprised how quickly it will.
Yeah. I'd say we're kind of nearly there.
Yeah.
We're at 5 franchisees, so I think, you know, over the next couple of years we will end up going VAT registered. Yeah, so there's 5 of us. We're across the UK, across England at the moment. So two in the northwest, 1 down in Bournemouth, 1 in Sutton and Kingston, and 1 in Warwickshire.
Yeah.
So really nice spread.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, but opportunities in the rest of the UK, so Northern Ireland, Scotland, and South Wales. Yeah, but I you know, I think there's a lot of what you're saying resonates with.
Absolutely.
You know,
I think you said about why buy into a franchise rather than kind of go it alone, which is a really good question. But when you think back to when you started up your practice, your business, you forget all of the things and all of the work that you've done to get started. And I think when people want to start a business, they don't realize, you know, all the things about kind of trademarking and registering your company and, you know, all the little things, building a website, getting a domain name, all of that stuff. When you buy into a franchise, that stuff's already done. So you're kind of just coming into this ready-made, ready-built business that someone's going to teach you all the processes, all the systems. You know, in our case with our classes, we're going to teach you, you have lesson plans to follow. We're going to train you on how to deliver them. We have tons and tons of marketing advice and ready-made graphics for advertising, copy to use for
oh my goodness, it just makes I need to, I've run out of business cards, and you kind of like, you know, I'm still running a practice with it as a franchisee, and so, you know, I just go on to my Canva and go, yeah, business card, thank you, done.
Printed.
You know,
just
if you're on your own, you're like, shall I change it? Shall I put different pictures on? Shall I change the what? You know, and it just takes up so much headspace.
Yeah. And the other thing to say about that as well is, when you build this network of franchisees, you know, my franchisees don't just have me to kind of come to if they're stuck. They have each other as well. So we have a really active closed Facebook group where, you know, already this morning there's been a couple of posts, you know, this happened to me this morning. What did you do? Or what would you do? Or has this happened to you in your business? What did you do? And you've got, so in our case, we've got, you know, nearly 30 people to kind of pool ideas and bounce off each other and pick each other up and support each other, you know, when times are tough. I mean, gosh, when I look back during COVID and how suddenly everything was locked down overnight, and I was going, oh my goodness, like, how are all these franchises going to keep making a living if we can't run classes? right, we'll go online, we'll teach classes on Zoom. And we all jumped on a call, we talked about how that would work, we adapted our lesson plans. So I kind of gave them all the tools that they could then continue earning money throughout the pandemic. And I think when you're on your own in business, you kind of go, oh my God, what am I going to do? And you've got no one to ask and no one to kind of turn to. So it does feel like a really big family community, and that's what I love the most.
Yeah, everything that you've said resonates with us. And, you know, I'd say, okay, we're not 30, but we're 5, and we've got technical support as well. You know, so if anyone's got an issue, you know, do you need a bat survey? Do you know, I've got an issue in the ground. You know, my client's saying this, or I've got issue with planning. Very different questions, but you know, we're all there to support, and you know, invariably someone's been through it. And likewise during lockdown, exactly the same. We pivoted within kind of like the first week, and we were back up and running, and it was just really swift. In fact, we did really well during lockdown. As a business and as a franchisor, I'm interested about kind of your head office structure. So who've you got at head office?
Well, we don't have a physical head office. So it's just me working out of my home, running the back end of the business. And then I have support staff, like obviously bookkeepers and accountants. I have somebody that does our social media. So we have a lot of freelancers that will come in and provide training services and webinars and things like that for our franchisees. So every month we will jump on a Zoom call, and it could be anything from going through your finances and how to keep on top of your numbers. It could be how to make a reel on Instagram, because for us, social media is a massive part of our marketing strategy. Or it could be, we've had webinars about how to get our classes into schools and nurseries and that type of thing. So we have lots of outside providers coming in regularly rather than a full-time team, if that makes sense.
Have you got anyone employed, or is it just yourself?
Nobody's employed, everyone's freelance.
That's same structure as me. I'm thinking
it works perfectly for us. Like we have a designer that's freelance, so you know, as and when he's needed, I'll shoot him an email.
It keeps it lean, I think, at head office, lean and nimble, so you can change direction. I'm just about to do some Sky TV ad smart.
Oh, that's exciting.
It's really exciting. It's really, I know, I heard about it in the franchise community, and I was like, oh, that sounds good. And you know, I think that's one of the benefits to being a franchise, is that you can pool that marketing resource so that you can actually afford to do something that is you know, sort of what would normally be completely out of your reach as a practitioner. You know, and for me, with the Sky, we're kind of taking a punt from head office to do it, and so you know, we'll take chances on the marketing side, and then once it's tried and tested, we'll be asking the franchisees to kind of like pay into it. So that's the advantage, you know, kind of learning from our lessons constantly.
And with our franchise, as I believe most franchises, the franchisees are paying an advertising levy each month that goes towards kind of national, I suppose, brand awareness and kind of traffic ads and that kind of thing. Which, like you say, if you're on your own and you're doing it, you just don't have the kind of money to compete with that. When we have a central pool of advertising money.
I mean, we charge £150 a month, but you know, like my social media freelance,
it doesn't go far, does it?
It doesn't go far at all. She's 500, my SEO guy is 500. You know, it's like all of a sudden, you know, you've spent that money instantly, and you know, and then there's more going in from head office.
We're the same. We're constantly topping that up, but I would rather do that and have everybody's classes busy and full and everyone making money, and it works out in the end to reinvest into the business, doesn't it?
That's really exciting. So where did we meet? Did we meet on Lightbulb, or did we meet
Yes,
on?
we did. Yeah, it was Lightbulb. Yeah, which is a brilliant group, isn't it?
Yeah. So what's Lightbulb?
Yeah, well, so it's again, it's a closed Facebook group, but it's kind of a group where journalists and business owners come together, and the journalist will post, right, I'm looking for such and such for a story on the BBC, and business owners will pitch what they're trying to get PR for. So it's a paid group, so you pay a monthly membership, but it's really helpful. I know lots of people, I mean, I've had a tiny bit of press from it, but I know lots of people that have, once you get one or two pieces, it snowballs, and then you're on the list then, and people will call you. And so I think it's definitely worth kind of persisting and putting your pitch out there regularly.
I know I was filmed this week for ITV News.
Oh, amazing.
It was on women's issues rather than architecture, but
Every bit of PR,
yeah, absolutely. It's you just get out there and talk. There's no such thing as bad press. Yeah, so I've been watching ITV News daily to see if it comes on, and it's not come on
Have
yet.
they not given you a time? Surely they need to give you a time.
Well, they said it was going out on Monday, and it didn't. So I've got a feeling this story got dropped.
Oh no! Oh, that'll be a shame.
Yeah, never mind.
But that's the other thing that does happen, doesn't it, with PR? You get really excited and think that you're going to be doing this, this, and this, and then some of it just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and I suppose that's the difference between PR and advertising. I mean, I'm usually quite loath to advertise, but when I heard about the Sky TV Ad Smart, I was like, "Ooh, that's it's a relatively low cost way of TV advertising."
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, have you heard about it?
No, I haven't. I'll look into it after this.
Yeah, so basically, well, you need a video, but how it works, I mean, it's just crazy how much information people have about your audience. So first of all, so traditionally TV advertising has been just unaffordable for small businesses, but what Sky Ad Smart is, it basically pay-per-view. So it's like, 3p, 6p per view of your adverts. And then they target, first of all, they can target your area demographically, geographically. So, I can put in my franchise areas. And then they can target demographically.
Right.
So for you, it could be people on, I don't know if they can find people on maternity or who've had babies. For me, I'm targeting people who've moved house. So people who've moved house within the last 6 months, or going to move house within the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And it goes out across Sky TV channels. So it's like Sky One, Sky Atlantic, but also Sky Sports, MTV, Channel 5, and there's about 100 Sky channels it goes on. And basically,
can you set a budget with them?
Yes.
You say, right, I want to spend this much per month, and okay.
Yeah, there's a minimum charge of £3,000, which is not that bad.
Yeah.
And they make sure that people watch the advert. So they only class a view if someone watches it for like 75% of it.
Yeah.
And not
fed through if it works, if you find it works.
Yeah. So
I think that's the thing about marketing. I think some people starting a business, they think of marketing as this big expense, where really you need to be thinking of it as an investment. Because if you don't market your business, no one's going to come. It's like you can't just build it and hope that everyone shows up. Like, you've got to actively market, and you've got to actively market even when you're busy, so that you're always top of mind. And I think that's the difficult thing to get across to the franchisees. Keep putting money in, keep marketing, because it will come back to you if you do it right.
Absolutely. I think that's a good place to wind down the conversation. So what have you got planned today?
I will be speaking to a franchisee. So we've got a support call booked where I'll be talking through like how her business is growing, how her numbers are looking and that kind of thing. So probably be spending an hour chatting to her. And I've got conversations with teachers because we're recruiting at the moment. So yeah, it's going to be a busy day, but lots of fun.
Fantastic. Well, lovely to talk to you. And I hope to, are you part of the BFA?
I'm actually part of the QFA. So
Oh,
you've got
okay.
there's just two associations in the UK. So one is obviously the British Franchise Association and the other one is the Quality Franchise Association. And I chose to join that one. Since joining, I just I think you get a feel for, you know, which one is your preference. And since joining, I've been with them a couple of years now. They then asked me to become a member of the board as well. So I'm on the board of that, which is really nice. It gives you more of an insight into franchising, and we have regular meetings, you know, discussing franchising and what's going on in the franchise world. So it's lovely to be part of.
Great. Well, I will see you on Lightbulb then.
Yes, definitely.
And whereabouts are you physically in the country?
Oh, I'm in Hertfordshire. I'm near Bishop Stortford, but I'm in a tiny little village that nobody's really ever heard of, Hatfield Broadoak. But yeah, it's a lovely little village.
Fantastic. Well, if you ever come across any architects, be very happy to
I will put them onto your podcast.
Yes.
Brilliant.
I'm just wondering actually if there's any way we could distribute some information to your class attendees.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure we can work out some kind of, what do they call it? Strategic partnerships.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always good to work with other businesses and kind
absolutely, because I'm sure both of our businesses, you know, have a similar demographic.
Yes.
Let's carry on this conversation off air.
Absolutely. Oh, thanks so much for having me, Lisa.
It's a pleasure, and thanks everyone for listening. Thank you for joining me, Lisa Rains, for Architecture in the Den. If you want to find out about franchising, check out our website, prideroadfranchise.co.uk. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe and leave a review. And do get in touch through your favourite platform if you'd like to be a guest.